Okay, I show that we have 1 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And may we have a roll call, please? May we have a roll call?
Chairperson Forte,
Present.
Commissioner Einhauser,
Present, Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Coleman. I guess he's not here yet, but he's planned to attend. Madam Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. So the first item we do have is the approval of the agenda. We have a walk-on item, and if we can approve with the walk-on item 2025-173, all of you should have received it by email.
I would move the adoption of the agenda as amended.
I will second that. And if there are no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That agenda has been approved, and we'll move on to the approval of the July 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that we adopt the minutes of July the 2nd, 2025 as presented.
Thank you, and I'll support that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is approved. We'll next move into public participation, and I'll ask Brian Peckinpah to provide our prelude to the public participation.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair. Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director for Detroit Water and Sewerage Department. To make a comment, please raise your hand by using the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device using the Zoom app. If you are calling in to the meeting by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. During public comment, after your name is called, you will be given permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon if you're online or on the Zoom app, or *6 if you're calling in. At the beginning of your comment, please share your full name and the community or neighborhood you live, work in, or are representing. The timer will start after your introduction. You will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment, and please keep your comments to public comment. This is not an opportunity to request information or data, which can be done through the city website and Legistar. If you make a comment, and in order for DWSD staff to follow up with you, we kindly request you complete the comment card link located with the Board of Water Commissioners meeting and also in the chat. There is an event meeting posted on the city website at detroitmi.gov/DWSD. You will only be called upon once. Once the chair closes public comment, there will be no other comments from the public, and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the committee meeting. Thank you for your attention. And Madam Chair, I do not see any hands raised. If you want to make a call for people to raise their hands, there's none raised at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Peckinpah. Are there any that are within the sound of my voice that would like to make public comment?
Madam Chair, you did. Oh, they took their hand down. There was an iPhone that had their hand raised, but they just took it down.
Okay.
There are no hands raised, Madam Chair.
Okay. Hearing no hands or seeing no hands raised, going once, going twice, we will close public comment and continue on. And our next item will be communications. We do have item 2025-172. Is there a motion to receive and file the correspondence?
I would so move, Madam Chair.
And I support that. So we have a motion and support to receive and file a correspondence. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is approved. And we'll move on. Item 7 is unfinished business. We have none. We'll move on to item 8, new business. And we have item 2025-174. Commissioner?
Madam Chair, I move that the Finance Committee recommend to the Board of Water Commissioners authorizing the approval of contract number 2 for DWSD contract number 6006004 with Oracle America, Inc. to provide consulting services for integrated architecture and data analysis by adding $150,000 for an amendment total contract amount not to exceed $650,000. No change to the scope of works or the terms and conditions, and authorize the director to act appropriately.
Thank you. I support that amendment. Do we have Ms. Welch? There she is. You could provide some color.
Yes, good afternoon. This is the second amendment to the Oracle America contract. It is adding $150,000 for the continuation of consulting services for integrated architect and data analytics. This contract supports our DWSD Information Technology Division. Amendment number 1 was for time and funding, and it was for artificial intelligence upgrades, as well as Oracle Cloud replacements. The second amendment that is before you is to maximize those resources available at the current rates to address additional Oracle infrastructure tasks. There is no change to the scope of work or to the original contract terms and conditions. However, Oracle does provide to us very skilled staffing that are able to address our critical needs and while they're still under contract for the amount that they're under, and some of our projects are still underway. The IT department wants to continue utilizing those services by adding this additional funding. And so at this time, it's being presented to the Finance Committee for review and moved to full board for approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion has been approved. And we'll move on to item B, 2025-175.
Madam Chair, I move that the committee forward with our recommendation DWSD contract number 6007354 with Accuform Printing and Graphics to provide printing services for a total contract not to exceed, $240,000 and a term of 3 years. This also authorizes the director to take any appropriate action to accomplish the intent of this vote.
Thank you. I second that motion. Ms. Welch?
Yes, this is a contract for 3 years and $240,000, and it supports our Public Affairs Division with external printing services, die cutting, and special project needs, which are required for customer education as well as construction outreach activities. These services were provided under contract for day-to-day printing, which exceeds our DWSD internal capabilities due to the increase of costs and or insufficient printing equipment in-house. We did advertise for bids for 28 days. We received 4 bids, and Accuform was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. DWSD procurement is presenting to the Finance Committee today for review and approval with recommendation to the full board.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion has been approved. And we'll now move on to item C, 2025-176. Is there a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move the committee recommend to the Board of Commissioners the approval of DWSD contract 6007358 with Granger Inc. for secondary MRO contract to provide industrial janitorial supplies for all DWSD locations utilizing the State of Michigan My Deal cooperative contract number 250000000128 for a total contract amount not to exceed $650,000 for a term of 1 year. And also authorize the director to take any appropriate actions.
Thank you. I support that motion. Ms. Welch.
Yes, this is our secondary janitorial and industrial supply contract. It supports all of DWSD operations with non-stock inventory items. This contract provides catalog ordering for one-off items to prevent and/or reduce spot buy purchases. This contract is being awarded under the terms and conditions of the My Deal Cooperative Agreement, where DWSD can take advantage of fair and agreed upon pricing for a term of 1 year. Per DWSD's procurement policy, we are required to advertise to allow local businesses to be able to bid before we award to a cooperative agreement. We did receive 2 intents to bid. However, one was deemed non-responsive because they were unable to meet the scope of services that were being required. And the other one was deemed non-responsive because their bid was invalid. And so today, DWSD procurement is recommending to the Finance Committee to refer to the full board to award to Granger under the My Deal Cooperative through the state of Michigan.
Are there questions or comments? Okay, you're like me, Commissioner, you're on mute. And so I think I saw you shake your head and say you didn't have any additional questions or comments. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion has passed unanimously, and we will move on to item D, 2025-177. Is there a motion?
Hang on.
That's
E?
item D, 2025-177.
Yeah. Madam Chair, I move the committee forward for adoption. DWSD contract 6007367 with Facilities 360 for janitorial service for a total contract amount not to exceed $4,250,000 for a term of 5 years, and also authorize the director to take any such appropriate action.
Thank you. I support that motion, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Welch for additional details.
Hi, yes, this is a replacement contract for our current janitorial services contract, which expires in September of 2025. This contract provides actual janitorial services, so our day-to-day services for all of our DWSD locations. They provide daily, weekly, quarterly, and as-needed janitorial services such as cleaning the restrooms, locker rooms, buffing floors, carpet cleaning, et cetera, et cetera. We did advertise this contract for 35 days, and procurement received and evaluated, we evaluated 3 bids, which were the final that were turned in that were responsive and responsible. And Facilities 360's bid was evaluated. They met all the criteria, and they were the second lowest bidder. We're recommending the award to them because they bid on all 5 locations, opposed to the lowest bidder where there was a $1 million difference. However, they only bidded on 2 locations. So it was more responsible for us organizational wise as far as the funding to award to the second lowest bidder because it was a total amount for all 5 locations. And so at this time, DWSD is recommending to the Finance Committee to move to full board with recommendation for approval.
Just one question, Ms. Welch. You said that includes all facilities. Are there ever any instances where we have to contract for extraordinary janitorial services outside of this particular contract?
No, they're usually covered under this contract. So for instance, when we went through the COVID spill in 2021, we were able to just call them, request additional pricing for the COVID, so that they can bring in those industrial and chemicals to be able to combat it, and they'll give us a quote. But if we cannot cover it under the contract, then we generally execute an emergency contract or we advertise for bids to address those issues. But this pretty much covers us on our day-to-day for the next 5 years for all of the locations that DWSD owns and manages.
Thank you. Are there any other questions of Ms. Welch? Hearing none, all in favor of this particular motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion is approved. We'll move on to now the walk-on item, 2025-173. And do we have language with regards to that motion? We do have it in our emails, Commissioner. And I can go ahead and make the motion here. I would move that the Finance Committee recommend to the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewerage Department to authorize the director to approve amendment number 1 to DWSD contract number 6005. One second. By 6005967 to Miller, Canfield, Paddock and Stone for the continuation of as needed legal services for DWSD by adding $250,000 for a total amended contract not to exceed $500,000. No changes to the contract terms or conditions or scope of work. This also authorizes the director to take such other action as may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote. Is there support for this motion?
Support.
Thank you. Ms. Welch, or who? This is probably,
Yeah, I'll be talking to it. It's
okay,
the
thank
contract.
you.
Yes, it's a contract amendment. It is a legal contract because it supports our legal department. However, it is a contract that was executed by procurement. It is an amendment to add an additional $250,000. It is for the continuation of as needed legal services that supports our legal team. The original contract was approved under the authority of Director Brown's threshold, and according to DWSD procurement policy, we do not have to competitive solicitate for legal services. This contract will continue to provide services as assigned under our general counsel, including the current challenges that DWSD face with its water rates. And so the additional funding is so that they can continue to assign those tasks and continue to work on some of the class action lawsuits that DWSD is now currently addressing. I do want to make note that this contract may come before the board again in the near future for additional funding as additional tasks have surfaced in the legal department, and they're going to use Miller Canfield to help support their department for those tasks as they come up to be assigned. And so there is no change to the scope of services because that's the original services as needed, and no changes to the terms and conditions. They're just going to be that additional support and representation for DWSD as they evaluate the claims that come into their office. And so I can yield for additional commentary. And I do believe that our legal team is also on if there's any additional questions that need to be asked.
Thank you. Are there questions? Commissioners?
No, thank you.
Hearing none. I don't know if Nakia, if you had any additional comment to make.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. No, I was just going to be available if you had any questions.
Okay, thank you. So seeing no additional comments, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion has been approved. Thank you. We'll now move on to item E 2025-179, which is the May 2025 monthly financial review, and CFO Istakar Rahman is on to present.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioner Eisenhower. Esther Karaman, Chief Financial Officer, DWSD. Today I'll be presenting the financial highlights for the month of May 2025. Moving on to the first slide. This is a summary of our cash position. We'll start with our cash and investment position for the month. Actually, should be May. We continue to maintain adequate cash reserves to support our operating and capital programs on a system-wide basis. We had $273.6 million. This is for operating I&E, which is the Improvement and Extension Fund, the trust accounts with GLWA, as well as the construction accounts. The split between water and sewer, we had $117.8 million in the water fund and $155.8 million in the sewer fund. This represents an overall decrease in our cash and investment balance of roughly $5.5 million. The decrease is mainly due to decrease in water operating account of $2.1 million. We had $2.8 million decrease in the water I&E, and sewer construction at $1.5 million decrease. And the trust account for the sewer had a $2.4 million decrease. All of these decreases were offset by increases in our sewer operating fund, roughly $1.8 million, and water trust account of $1 million, and the sewer I&E of roughly $700,000. As you'll be seeing these increases and decreases in the following slides. So for instance, water operating cash decreased by $2.1 million over April. This is mainly due to a timing difference for our payroll transfer between the water and sewer operating funds. The opposite effect can be seen in the sewer operating cash, an increase of $1.8 million. It's kind of a wash between the two funds. So the variances are mainly because of the timing difference relating to the transfer. Moving on to the next slide is our improvement and extension cash. As I mentioned before, we continue to spend down our improvement and extension as well as construction dollars. In the water I&E, we had $20 million, a decrease of 2.8 compared to the previous month. Again, the decrease is due to our spend on capital projects. These are summer months, and capital project expenditures kind of tends to peak during these months as opposed to fall and winter. Sewer and I&E cash amounted to $50 million at the end of the month. This represents a very slight increase of roughly $700,000. Again, it's due to reimbursements that we receive and a small component of investment income that explains the difference in increases. Moving on to construction cash, decreases both in the water as well as construction. The sewer construction cash, again, can be attributed to spending down our construction dollars as we move along. And finally, cash held in trust for our cash and investment position. We had $33 million in our trust account for the water fund, representing an increase of $1 million. This increase is due to a receipt of 11.1, which exceeded our target collection for the month. The target collection for the month is $10.1 million for the water fund for the month of May. In the sewer fund, we had $40.3 million. This is a decrease of $2.4 million over what we had in April because of slightly lower collection in the retail receipts for sewer. We had $22.6 million, which kind of fell short of our target collection, which is $25 million for the month of May. Moving from cash to receivables. Here's a comparative accounts receivable position. May sales of $39.4 million decreased slightly, $1.3 million compared to April's. In May, our receivables totaled $325.3 million for all the active accounts. This is an increase of 3.8 million, roughly 1.2 million to 1.2%, compared to April receivables of $321.5 million. Our collections for the month of May was $34.4 million, a decrease of 3.2 when you compare it to our collections in April. Again, this is because April we had some additional collections from government customer class. So that's why April had a higher collection rate. Active residential accounts receivable increased approximately 700,000 or 0.3%. But our aging number of days increased by 19. We continue to monitor our receivables and make appropriate allowances for possibility of non-collection. That allowance percentage stood at 76.9%, quite consistent with the previous months. And this percentage is after we factor in our transfer to tax roll as well. The next slide is a moving average rolling forward for the last several months. If you look at the chart on your right, you'll see residential collection rate for the last 3 months averaged 81.8%. The average was 77.2% in April and 78.9% as of March. So the collection rate of 82.5% in May is definitely an improvement over both April as well as March collection rate. It would be reasonable to say that this increase can be attributed to our interruption efforts for non-payment, as well as the success of our payment plan arrangement, 1036 plan. And also during the month of May, we had some collections from Wayne Metro. So all of that, those events contributed to a healthier collection rate for receivables for the residential class. Commercial and industrial continue to show very positive results. All of these are exceeding in the high 80s or low 90s. So no concern of that at this point for commercial and industrial collection rates. Drainage, however, the average for the last 3 months stood at 79.9%. This average was 80.7 in April and 77.8 in March. Collection rate as a whole for the month of May at 71.3% has shown a decline when you compare to April of 82.2% and March of 86.1%. So collection rate for drainage only accounts continue to be our concern in terms of our overall receivables. If you look at the May combined collection rate for the month of May, we had 83.8% for all active customer classes. It was lower a little bit from 91.4%, mainly because in April we had some governmental collections higher than what we had in May. So that explains the slight difference between the two percentages. The 3-month moving average has been consistent for all the recent months, dating back to March and April. Now switching gears to our matrix for revenues. Water commodity revenues exceeded the budget for the month by 7.2%. On a year-to-date basis, we continue to show positive results. Our volume is 1.6% over our adjusted budget. In terms of commodity revenue, same story. We continue to show positive results when we compare it with the budget. It increased by 6.9% over April. On a year-to-date basis, our commodity revenue was 3.4% above the state budget. So we are very close to a year end. This is the May results. So we have 1 month to go in June in terms of data collection, and seem to be in a pretty positive position with both the matrix as well as the revenues exceeding the budget so far. The next slide is the survey charge. Again, positive news on this front as well. Our water equivalents exceeded the budget by 2.9% for the month of May. On a year-to-date basis, also we have exceeded the budget so far at the rate of 2.9%. For the related survey charge revenues, we are above the budget by 3.3%, and the year-to-date reflects a similar percentage increase. Moving on to the sewer side of the house, the volume for May is in excess of the budget by 7.4%. So it's a great month for the sewer side in month. On a year-to-date basis, we are kind of lining up with the budget. It's 0.7% increase under seasonally adjusted budget. From the revenue side, we have a 5% increase for the month of May itself. But on a year-to-date basis, we're kind of even when you compare the actuals to the budget. And finally, not finally, sorry, there's one more slide here for the matrix for the survey charge as well as the revenues. Meter counts exceeded the budget by 3.8% for May. On a year-to-date basis, it exceeds the budget by 4.2%. The revenue side of our meter equivalents also showing an excess budget situation by 4% for the month of May. And on a year-to-date basis, similarly, we are ahead of the budget by 4.1%. And now finally, the drainage charge matrix and revenue. May BIA, which is the billable impervious acreage, is kind of at par with the budget, with a 0.3% positively. On a year-to-date basis, we are going very, very neck to neck with what the budget projection was, and showing a 0.2% increase. From the revenue side, however, we fell short of the budget by 5.3% for the month. And on a year-to-date basis, it's a 4% decrease when you compare to the budget. And this is mainly due to a drop in BIA over time, as well as some additional residential and green credits that we offer customers who sign up for these kind of credits. So that's the story for all our revenues and expenses. We'll conclude the presentation here. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. Well done. Are there questions or comments, commissioners?
No.
Okay, seeing none, I'll just ask Istakar to comment on planning calendar. Are we on track here?
Yes, ma'am, we're on track.
Are there any other matters to come before the committee?
I don't think so.
Hearing none, our next meeting is September the 3rd, 2025. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I would move that we adjourn.
Moved and supported. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So we have 12 minutes to the next meeting.
Time now is 1:45. I'd like to call the Capital Improvement Program and Operations Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Coleman,
Present, Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Davis. I see he's present, but I don't hear him.
Present.
Commissioner Kinlock, okay.
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for approval of the agenda as presented.
Move approval of the agenda.
Is there a second? I'll second it. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any negative votes? Hearing none, the motion passes. Line item number 4. I'd like to ask for an approval of the minutes from July 2nd, 2025.
Mr. Chair, move approval of the previous meeting minutes of July 2nd, 2025 with any necessary corrections.
Thank you. I second it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. The minutes are approved from July 2nd. Line item number 5, public participation. Do we have anyone?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director, Detroit Water and Sewerage Department. And we don't have any hands raised at this time. If you do want to make the official call, you can do so, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay, we are closing public participation. Next up is line item 6, communication. I see we have none. Number 7 is unfinished business. I see we have none. Number 8, new business. Item 2025 TAC 180, the GLEWA 5-year CPI for the upcoming fiscal year. Mr.
Good
Small.
afternoon, Commissioner. Sam Smalley, Deputy Director. Dima from GLWA is going to give a truncated presentation tailored to the work primarily in the city of Detroit on both the water side and wastewater side. Thank you, Dima.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to speak about the GLWA 5-year CIP. My name is Dima Al-Gamal. I'm the Capital Improvement Planning Director at GLWA, and we will go over today the CIP that was approved by the board last February, which we refer to as FY26 to 30 CIP. Do I have control? Can I share or?
Yes.
Okay, let me take over and share. Give me 1 second. Can everyone see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we're going to go over, before we start talking about the projects within the city of Detroit or within the CIP for FY26 to 30, I will cover a little bit about our performance indicators to date for FY25. We'll discuss FY26 to 30 with focus on the city of Detroit, like Sam mentioned. And I want to also give a brief update on what we're doing right now, which is FY27 to 31 CIP. So when we talk about key performance indicators for on an annual basis, we are very happy to report that our CIP capital planning is improving and the delivery is improving. We have so far have received reporting up until end of May. We recently received end of year, which is June, but we're still working on processing the data and finalizing it. But basically, in a nutshell, for the water system up until now on as far as KPIs within FY25, we're at almost 77% of board approved. And with that being said, we do have certain projects that had design challenges. For instance, there was a delay in design or certain projects that have been waiting on permitting and planning commission approvals. So due to that, to these delays and these factors, you would find us at 77% right now on the water side from an FY25 delivery. When we look at the wastewater side, very huge improvement from previous years. We're almost at 100% on wastewater. Multiple projects are taking off and moving forward within the wastewater portfolio. And for May specifically, we reached the board approved value of 155 million. And we expect the year to end favorably as well on the wastewater portfolio. When we look at board-approved CIP, this is the board-approved document that was approved in last February, and it covers FY 26 to 30 timeframe, in specific 26 and beyond, with a 10-year outlook. That specific CIP reflected about 200 million on average over 10 years, 221 million on average over 10 years investment in water. Also about 211 million over 10 years investment in wastewater. And we do have 156 projects within that CIP. 9 of them were new, and some of them would come from programs, which means they're not directly new, but they're just utilizing money that is in the programs, but reallocating and identifying the project that would relate to it. When we look at projects specifically truncated to the city of Detroit, if you have a chance to look at our document, we have a specific table and a specific map that highlights all the projects, all the CIP numbers that address projects within the boundaries of the city of Detroit. These would be projects within CIP GLWA facilities and outside GLWA facilities. We try to separate and show and highlight the projects within the city of Detroit on a separate map. And then we have another map that is district-wide and service area-wide. I highly recommend that people go to it, look at it, and utilize the project information in the BCEs as Appendix A and B in the document to learn more about these projects. But in summary, if we were to look at those projects, we can find that we have various projects that are within the city of Detroit boundaries. When we look at water, we have multiple projects that are currently under execution and construction, and they are under design. We have projects that are in procurement, a couple of projects that are currently in procurement, one for negotiation on design, the Northeast Water Treatment Plant filter replacement, for instance, and one procurement on construction. We do have multiple projects also in the CIP that address future planned within 5 years and within 10 years. What you see in front of you is, again, all projects that are reflected underwater, for instance, but they are within the city of Detroit, and specifically highlighted and bolded are projects that are outside the facility, the GLWA facilities. A couple of examples: Jefferson Main replacement project, Concord and Nevada flow control valves, Pennsylvania and Spring Wells raw water supply tunnel improvement. These are projects that would be going on within the city of Detroit. Grosse Pointe Woods, Harbor Woods, 24-inch main as well. These are projects that are currently within our CIP, either in execution or in procurement or as future. That's on the water side. On the wastewater side, we also have plenty of projects going on within the city of Detroit. They're also identified in that map that I mentioned. And some of them, the ones that are outside our GLWA facilities, in this case would be Meldrum sewer diversion and valve remote improvements. That would be out. That is future planned within the next 5 years, expected to start July of FY 26, so next year. We have other projects that are also within the city of Detroit, outside our facilities. Of course, conveyance system repairs, emergency and urgent contracts also fall within that. The North Interceptor East Arm, 7 Mile Road Diversion Chamber structure, Detroit River Interceptor, evaluation and rehab. All these are projects specifically mentioned as under execution for construction. So construction is going on these projects as we move forward. We also have the Northwest Interceptor rehab. It's pending closeout, so we're almost closing that project out. The rest of the project that you see, again, they are within the city of Detroit, but they're within GLWA facilities. That covers 26 to 30, but believe it or not, we're working continuously on 27 to 31, and we are advancing that roadmap and the activities related to that CIP fairly quickly. We started immediately after the board has approved the 26 to 30 CIP. We started collecting information about our projects, validating the projects, updating them, scoring new projects, and working on aligning with our financial plan. So a lot has been completed on FY 27 to 31, and we still have a lot to go forward. When we bring in, and I wanted to recap here a little bit, when we're bringing in new projects to the CIP, we score them, that's for sure, and we give them a score. But at the same time, we provide an opportunity for our project managers to look at projects that are existing in the CIP, to rescore them if anything has changed on them. So we ask our project managers to score new projects, future projects, projects in procurement, projects that are in design, and projects that have design, bid, build, basically that don't have a contract on construction. We try not to touch and not to rescore projects that are already having contracts that are in execution. Let's say if project started construction or is pending closeout, there's no point to go through and rescore it. So we have categories to scoring projects when we bring them in. And our scoring is 2 layers. I want to remind everyone that we have our project managers scoring a project, but then we have our review committee come in and rescore that project, and the project final score that is used in prioritization is typically the project review committee score. This year, I want to extend, always thanks to our committees who do the scoring. Previously, we had Anil Kosain from Detroit help us, and we appreciated that. This year, we had John Dancy from City of Dearborn Heights on water, and we didn't bring any new wastewater projects into the system. This is why we canceled our wastewater scoring project, and Michael Way from Grosse Pointe Shores attended our water. So we had 2 community representatives helping us with scoring. We typically take to the review committee projects that are either all new projects or projects that change their score by more than 10. And we really appreciate the contributions from member partner communities on the scoring. The review committee itself, something to point out, is a diversified version of multiple entities within GLWA. So you can see a project being looked at from the operations perspective, from asset management perspective, from master planning perspective, and project managers and directors perspective. So multiple factors go in to score a project. But when it comes to prioritize, we build our projects into 3 categories. We call them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, based on the score. But we also bring in what we call multiple other decision factors to evaluate how a decision is made on a project. Does it go through or not? Do we need to act on it right away, or can we move it or postpone it a little bit based on system needs, based on constructability, funding availability, operations consideration? Sometimes it's a predecessor project that needs to, that cannot happen until another project happens. So we basically look at our project portfolios from multiple aspects, not just purely the score that they possess when we prioritize them. And here's a list of the new projects that came to GLWA for FY 27 to 31. I've bolded the ones that are within the city of Detroit as well, just to give you an idea. And I wanted to also reflect on, some projects are coming in from programs. So the program is already in place. A comment to say here and to reflect on as well here is the project management manager score does not all the time agree with the review committee score or vice versa. And you can see instances where a project manager score actually was very close to the review committee score. And in some cases, like Morang transmission main replacement, for instance, that's a project in Detroit. The project manager gave it about 63, and the review committee gave it a score of 63, 64. So sometimes there's an alignment, sometimes there's different points of views, and there's different perspectives. Design inspection of raw water tunnels, the project manager gave it 78, the review committee gave it 60. That allows us to take a first brush at these projects when we are looking at alignment with the financial plan, where we set them up. But again, that is not the only factor that we move a project forward or postpone based on. There's the additional components that I talked about and the factors that play a role in how we prioritize our projects. About 180 million of total budget of projects came into the water system for this upcoming 27 to 31, some of them from programs. As you can see, 42-inch Squirrel Auburn Hills is a program project, 120-inch Renewal is a program project, 42-inch Tyler North Van Buren is a program project as well. And the wastewater this year, we're just continuing to do capital delivery on projects that are already in the CIP. So where we're moving from now is something that I want to also hopefully conclude with. For FY 27 to 31, the projects are being looked at under an alignment portfolio and within multiple scenarios, because we are trying to work with the financial plan and see how we can adjust and align the CIP spending and projections for that. We are in the midst of alignment in August. We're working on that, and very soon we're going to move into hopefully preparing the draft one for the board approval and review. And with that being said, I think that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take questions if any.
Are there any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I don't have a question. I just want to acknowledge Dima's professionalism that she brings to this process. You can see that it's well thought out, it's well executed, and it's certainly a tribute to her leadership in this area. So we thank you. That's number one. Number two, Dima, would you please send me a copy of this presentation separately to my email? And then thirdly, I just would like to ask the question. We all were concerned about the 54-inch water main that broke. And we also know that GLEWA will do an assessment of the rest of that line to make sure that it is not at risk of having further failure. Can you tell us how that would bubble up into this process of the CIP to if in fact the assessment shows that it needs to be replaced, to be lined, to be rehabilitated?
So thank you, Director Brown. I can definitely provide some information. I know that Jody and our teams are looking at the assessment that you mentioned. It's being looked at, and they're looking to assess not only how much is needed, but how can we bubble it or bring it to the CIP, because it will reflect perhaps a large investment, and it will be required. But we're trying to look at that. It's not going to show up in FY 27 to 31. I think the assessment will need a little bit more time. Most likely, it will show up in the future CIPs, but we are cognizant of the fact that this will be perhaps an additional layer of funding, and we will need to look at where can we find that funding and how. But it's being looked at.
Okay,
and being studied.
Yeah. And thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Seeing none, next item.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is 2025 TAC 181 review of engineering and planning programs.
All right, I'm going to just replace the share. Okay, just confirming, everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. Anil Gosai, Chief Planning and Strategy Officer. at DWSD on our update for engineering and capital planning. So DWSD is now in its 7th year of our asset management driven CIP program that is now defensible and transparent to what we've previously had. There's been a lot of work and effort around putting together the data, walking through data sets on why we prioritize assets. And a lot of that has now resulted into efforts that we're now seeing for our customers and the department by reducing water main breaks, getting a better allocation around non-revenue water that is lower than what we were assigned to in some tabletop exercises in 2017 and 18, as well as sewer sinkholes. There is a trend downwards where we're also seeing O&M costs reduce for those O&M, for those water sewer infrastructure maintenance items. We continue coordination with other agencies such as DPW, DTE, and MDOT on biweekly infrastructure coordination meetings so that we can maximize those dollars as we walk into these neighborhoods and do a one and done approach. There is a growing, and we have built a strong governance and planning team between all of the stakeholders internally at DWSD and externally to ensure that there's sustainability of this capital delivery program. One of the items that I'd like to highlight this update is that this is not just purely around determining which water sewer asset we're replacing, but what means and methods and of data and information technology infrastructure that was put in place to support meter operations, maintenance and repair, field engineering, finance. We built a lot of technology infrastructure that supports this capital delivery and bringing that data in for us to do analysis and making sure that we are fine-tuning those approaches and making sure that we are delivering asset management driven CIP. So below you'll see a couple of programs that we've deployed over the years. ArcGIS is our main approach we've taken as a GIS-centric approach on this with CityWorks, eBuilder, Info Asset Manager as our hydraulic modeling, as well as understanding and bringing in advanced data from our meter infrastructure. Taking this holistic approach has improved a lot on terms of what we can do and how we've achieved the successes we have around this program. And the interconnectedness of these elements and the integrations is a major piece of this as well. You guys have all seen this before. This is our capital delivery program. It's been refined on an annual basis as we do work, and it now is in a state that we believe that it has a predictable outcome on where we focus our dollars. And I'll talk about that a little more in a further slide, but as we focus a lot of those assets and where we want to target those fundings, the construction and infrastructure management is becoming a bigger and bigger item versus planning and condition assessment. This is a high-level overview of where we have work across the city: green infrastructure, water capital projects, sewer capital projects, work with city engineering on the roads, on residential roads, heavily neighborhoods that are coming back that we're doing more and more of. And you'll see in future projects, this expands out as well. Lead service lines, a major item that DWSD has focused on in the more recent years. This is going to continue to be another major item as we meet the regulatory requirements on getting this completed. As I mentioned earlier around our asset management approach, this is the risk profiles for water as well as our sewer assets that drive the areas that we pick for selecting assets that need to be rehabilitated. So roughly 3 miles of condition assessment results in 1 mile of rehabilitation. On this slide, DWSD just completed a leak detection contract, so we're well over 50% of our system that we've done leak detection on. This, in concert with prior condition assessments and a partnership with our maintenance and repair teams, has allowed us to find these leaks, fix these leaks, but also create a foundation for us to validate that our leakage rates are much lower than what many may have assumed 7 years ago. So there are going to be technical write-ups and memos around how we do this for the greater benefit of DWSD and the city of Detroit. This is actually one of the end results that you see from the rehabilitation work. If you look at the top panel, that is how the risk profile looked for those neighborhoods. The bottom picture is basically the rehabilitated state of those neighborhoods. We've gone from yellows and oranges to mostly greens and yellows. If you look at the prior maps, if we can get a lot of this red out, that would be a very good thing. And if we can manage the green and yellow. Here's another map as well, right? So you have a lot of red and orange. We've shifted that risk profile down to green on those assets in those neighborhoods. So hopefully DWSD should not be going into these neighborhoods for decades for us to go into these before we replace these. It is an evolving program. There are continuous lessons that we're working on. It's a very good program in terms of our feedback from internal and external entities, but we've built out lessons learned workshops. We're doing mechanisms internally for our engineers, our finance, our inspectors, so that we can do better compliance, accountability around how we do this. We've also built and kept our standardized tools and templates, and we're building on that more and more as we get staff feedback. Quality control, quality compliance is also a major factor, and we're ramping up efforts on that to try make sure that what we put in the ground is going to be successful and meets the requirements of the contracts. Some of the issues or challenges that we have going forward is we do need to close those funding gaps of meeting that 0.75% renewal rate that we established in 2018. Throughout the COVID period, that did slow down, so there's starting to create a gap on what those assets should have been replaced. So that is something future we'll need to look at. We are also focusing on stronger contract management performance and policy compliance. I would just say, some of the work that I think from an overall capital program that we've done has just laid out the foundation for many utilities are trying to understand how to do digital simulations or digital twins. And we are now in a place where, because of what we've built with our data infrastructure, understanding the conditions of our assets, DWSD is now in the midst of actually performing proof of concepts for doing those things, which we are engaging with multiple utilities that are actually asking DWSD how to even get there. So DWSD used to win a lot of awards 10, 15 years ago on automation and what we're doing. We are now coming back to those. And one of these days, we will bring some of those awards back to the board and present it. And with that, that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Next item, the planning calendar. Do we need to present again? I mean, we just talked about these last two items. So I'm assuming not then. Are there any other matters that need to be brought before this committee at this time? Please note our next meeting is scheduled for September the 3rd, 2025. I'd ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn. This is Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Is there a second? I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
All right, I'd like to call the Customer Service Committee meeting this day of August 6th at 2:30. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Chairperson Blackman,
Detroit.
Commissioner Forte,
Present.
Commissioner Garcia.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Very much. We're now moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I move it, Madam Chair.
Moved by Commissioner Forte. Is there a second?
Support.
Second by. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Hear you.
So, discussion, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please indicate by the sign of aye. Please
Aye.
Support.
The agenda is approved. We're moving on to the approval of the minutes of July 2nd. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion carried. The next item is public participation. Is there anyone who has indicated a desire to speak before this committee?
Madam Chair, Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director for DWSD. There are two hands raised, and the first one is Cecily McClellan.
Would you please read the statement of Mr. Peckinpah?
Yes, I will, Madam Chair, because there are some new attendees to the meeting. To make a comment, please raise your hand by using the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device using the Zoom app. If you are calling into the meeting by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. During public comment, after your name is called, you will be given permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon if you're online or on the Zoom app, or *6 if you are calling in. At the beginning of your comment, please share your full name and the community or neighborhood you live, work in, or are representing. The timer will start after your introduction. You will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment, and please keep your comments to public comment. This is not an opportunity to request information or data, which can be done through the city website and Legistar. If you make a comment and in order for DWSD staff to follow up with you, we kindly request you complete the comment card link in the chat, and it's also located on the Board of Water Commissioners meeting event posted on the DWSD homepage at detroitmi.gov/DWSD. You will only be called upon once the chair closes public comment. There will be no other comments from the public, and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the committee meeting. Thank you for your attention. And the first individual is Cecily McClellan.
Welcome, Ms. McClellan.
Thank you very much. Again, Cecily McClellan calling on behalf of We the People of Detroit. Can you hear me?
Hear you just fine.
Okay, thank you. We continue to get calls from residents that are concerned about water shutoffs. And many of these residents are already enrolled in the Easy Pay program. Generally, their problem is that based on their income or their arrears, the payment plans are too high, and often they default on the payment plans. And those that have defaulted, many have not been able to catch up the amount that's required when they would like to re-enroll back in the Easy Pay program. And it becomes a vicious cycle because basically the plan is not suitable for low-income residents. A consideration may be to extend the period of time in which you calculate over 48 months instead of 36, or allow a percentage of the past due amount on the plan to be paid and then recalculate, or increase the amount of funding that there is to the Lifeline. And I know that's a difficult issue, but this shows that 8,000 people being enrolled in Lifeline in the city of Detroit size is just really not enough. Additionally, we'd like to ask again for your support for the legislation that's being offered in Lansing by Representative Devendorf, House Bill 4555, the Water Affordability Now bill. There will be additional portions of that bill added on August the 20th. It's our hope that if we have a statewide affordability program, the city will then codify into law an ordinance that will allow that the residents of the city have a permanent water affordability program. Thank you again for allowing me to comment.
Thank you, Ms. McClellan.
Madam Chair, the next person is Willa Walker.
Ms. Walker, please unmute yourself and begin commenting.
Hello, can I be heard? Good afternoon, can I be heard?
Hey.
I wanted to say hello and good afternoon to this honorable body, Director Brown, and everybody at the Board of Water Commissioners, customer service reps. I echo Mama Cecily's sentiments as far as water affordability and the bill up in Lansing, and I just want everyone to know that I don't know what our new administration looks like, but I personally will advocate fiercely that we keep Director Brown, Deputy Director Sam Smalley, and our active Board of Water Commissioners we have now, because we all have tremendously worked hard to get to where we're at, and God knows I don't want to deal with nobody new. So, all right, thank you, love everybody, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who has a desire to speak, sir?
Madam Chair, there are no other hands raised.
Madam Chair.
Director Brown.
Yeah, I just got just a couple comments. First of all, DWSD is very close to being prepared to roll out, I'm not going to say improved, but an affordability program that fits the budget that we have. I'm going to ask Matt Phillips to contact our water advocates. Certainly, we the people of Detroit, as well as D'Amico's organization and any others that want to, let's invite them in and walk them through the program and get any suggestions for improvement that we would be able to make before we bring it to the board for approval within the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to ask Matt Phillips to do that. And I'm asking those advocates to make dates available to set up a meeting so that we can walk through what we're thinking about. That's number one. Number two, I cannot support the legislation up in Lansing as written. There's a lot of it that I certainly agree with, but there are certain parts of it that I do not. So we will contact the author of that legislation, offer some friendly amendments, and see if we can come to consensus on something that DWSD could support. So those are the 2 points that I'd like to make. Thank you.
Are we all aware of the proposed changes that you are not that you cannot support?
Yeah, there's legislation in Lansing that has parts of it that I cannot support. However, there is much of it that I do support. Just as the legislation that I had up in Lansing, advocates supported most of it, but there were parts of it that they couldn't support. So I think that there's hopefully a way that we could come to consensus and be able to support it. But as written today, I could not support that legislation without some friendly amendments.
The major sponsor.
I'm not sure of the name. I know that Deb Poshby has been in contact with them regarding the legislation, and we can get you the name of the sponsor.
Okay. Is there any a desire to speak?
Yeah, Madam Chair, to Director Brown's point, Ms. Poshby is planning to soon Commissioners meeting, and likely the August 20th meeting, to present on the 2 different legislation packages and the differences.
Okay, very good. We need to hear those. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what I'm asking, Brian, is that we set something up with the advocates prior to that meeting to hear, their opinions and recommendations so that we can take them into consideration when we present on the 20th.
Thank you, heard you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, we do have two other hands raised since we haven't closed public comment. It's Mr. D'Amico Williams.
Mr. Williams, welcome, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. D'Amico Williams, Chief Executive Director, Hydrate Detroit. I will accept that invitation, and I would like to thank the Water Department, Mr. Gary Brown, for the invitation to come and speak and to discuss the Easy Pay. And I just have a few concerns about it. I'm outraged when there were water shutoffs in 90-degree temperatures without warning the public or letting the public know what's going on. That's number one. Number two, our phone system has been down for a month and a half now. So I've been giving out my personal cell number to inform people on how to get the Easy Pay program. There's still no information as to enroll in Easy Pay. And also, I have a client that has been trying to get her water turned on, but they said she need $1,000, and she doesn't have that. I feel like we're back in 2015 all over again, where we have no rectifiable answers, or even so much as to make sure that people are not shut off and being put in dangerous situations. I really wish that we can work on this. I accept the invitation. I'm still concerned about the Lifeline plan and how many people are paying the $18 benefit. How many people have been put off of the $18 benefit? I don't like the clause of being told, oh, you can't ask for data or questions or so, when those questions could be answered after public comment. Okay. Certain questions that we ask that are pertinent to the conversation, that are relatable to what we're dealing with. It should be answered by the director. It should be answered by this body, by any resident that is information. All we just want to know is, what can we do to stop water shutoffs as they happen right now? Yes, we could pay, but some people don't have the money to pay. I'm trying to raise money on this Saturday for the Share Water 10-year anniversary for Hydrate Detroit, and I'm mirrored by the election. Elections have consequences. I'm suffering those consequences. I'm suffering for all the work that I put in to that bill. I'm suffering for all of the time, the energy, and the withdrawal to talk to my legislators, and it didn't work. I'm stressed and strained by not getting any compensation or working with the water department, or we the people, all of us collectively, in order to campaign for that bill to pass. So yes, I'm suffering from the consequences. Thank you for taking my comment.
William. Is there anyone else who's expressed a desire?
Madam Chair, we have Norel Hemphill.
Hemphill, please. Welcome and begin your comments, please.
Peace and blessings. My name is Norel Hemphill. I am the Legal and Policy Manager at We the People of Detroit. I just had a couple of questions and I did want to clarify. So the Bill 4555, House Bill 4555, has been introduced by the World Coalition, which is a coalition of over 30 organizations across the state of Michigan. That is grassroots organizations across the state, rural, urban, and suburban. That's a statewide coalition of people, of actual people who are across the state of Michigan who support this legislation. I do understand that Detroit represents a significant portion of the state and the Gliwa service area, which was formerly the Detroit Water and Sewage Department, represents about 40% of the state. And we know that it's important that DWSD does support this legislation. Director Brown, I know you mentioned that there were some issues with the legislation that you could not support. I know we've brought this up a couple times at a couple of meetings, and legislation has been out just a little bit over a month, I believe now. Um, is are you able to communicate what those issues are so that we can have time to prepare? And also, I wanted to clarify, are you proposing two meetings before the August 20th meeting or just one meeting? It sounds like there's one about some new assistance program and then another to discuss the legislation. Um, and could those be emails? It is a hardship on small organizations like us to try to pivot so quickly. That's just in 2 weeks. So, if we could talk about that a little bit more strategically to see what those desired outcomes are. Everything that we've said about the legislation and all of our points are out there for public consumption. So I'm not sure what else, why we would need to meet. Also, we do support a moratorium on water shutoffs. We definitely need a permanent water affordability program and some better water assistance programs so that we're serving all the residents of Detroit. Thank you. And if you could please answer my questions, it would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Ms. Hemphill.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think with Matt Phillips and Brian Peckinpah calling and having a conversation on dates that we could meet, I think that one meeting is all that it would take. We could cover two subject matters. I think everybody's really clear pretty much on why I can't support the legislation. I've made that very, very public, the portions of it. And Ms. Hemphill just outlined it. And so she understands what portions of that legislation I can't support. So we're not going to settle it here in this meeting. This isn't the proper forum, but I am extending an invitation to have a meeting. We can do it by Zoom. We can do it however it's most convenient for people. I'm just looking to make sure that I'm being transparent and that I'm getting input. I'm getting their input so that when Ms. Poshpiece makes the presentation to the board, we are making sure that we acknowledge what it is we're being asked for by the advocates, and hopefully we'll be able to support most of it. And if we can't, we'll be able to outline what portions we cannot support. So we'll set up the meeting, and I'll try to make it as convenient for people as possible to do that meeting.
Madam Chair, we have no other hands raised.
Thank you, Mr. Peckinpah. Since we will then close public participation and move on to communications, we have item 2025-171A. Is there a motion? Item A, 2025-171. Is there a motion? Committee members. Correspondence. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Commissioner Blackman.
Okay.
If I could make the motion to receive and file the correspondence, I would, but I can't.
I will. I've been on mute. I mean, my mute was couldn't get it working.
Okay, that we
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Next item then is
Support.
that.
You know what? I'm so sorry. Madam Chair, you're breaking up, and I don't know what that's due to.
I don't either. How about now?
That's better.
Okay, I got closer to my computer, so maybe I'll just have to sit very close. We're now on to new business, the customer service presentation, Mr. Phillips.
Madam Chair, thank you. Madam Chair, just to confirm, you can see my screen?
See your screen.
Thank you.
Committee,
I
can
am
you?
going,
Yes. Can committee members see the screen?
Yes.
Very good. Please proceed.
Madam Chair, I'm going to turn over the customer service presentation to Kimberly Crowell.
Ms. Crowell, look forward to hearing from you.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Just fine.
Yes.
Okay, great, great. So during the month of July, we received over 52,200 customers calls and we responded to over 7,000 emails. In total, that gave us nearly 59,300 total customer touch points for the month. We averaged about 2,700 contacts per day. In addition to that, of course, this is double what we planned for. With our customer service calls, our emails, and our customers' total interactions, we had a total of over 146,000 contacts for the month of July. Our customer contact volume was at 93%. That's a 93% increase over forecast, which expected daily volume. And because of this spike, only 10% of our calls were answered within the 2-minute time frame. Our average speed of answer, so it took us over 9 minutes to answer the emergency line, and it took us about 33 minutes for the non-emergency line. Our customer satisfaction score was at 81%. Our first call resolution was at 72%. I would like to again add that we continue to keep exceeding our customer satisfaction goal. This is our 23rd straight month in doing so. Also, we also will be promoting 10 full-time employees from a level customer service specialist 1 to a customer service specialist 2. They all have excelled and graduated from our bump up training. So they will be receiving a promotion due to their high scores that they received during the training. And we also have 11 new employees that have started training, and they joined our team on July 28th of this of July. So they're currently in training right now to be added to our team. Next slide.
We expect that
Did you say something, Commissioner Blackman? We can barely hear you.
when do we expect their training to be completed?
We expect for the training our training is a 12-week training course. So we expect for the training, they go through 6 weeks of in-class training and 6 weeks of nesting. So we're looking at almost towards the second week of October. They will be ready to be on the phones.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This slide here, it gives us a 6-month overview of the calls received, our average speed of answer, as well as our, as I stated before previously, our first call resolution and our customer satisfaction scores. We continue to keep meeting those KPIs. So I am extremely proud of our team. In spite of the calls that we're receiving, they're working hard, diligently every day. And I applaud each and every one of them for continuing to provide excellent service to our citizens.
And please our appreciation as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if there's no further questions, I will turn it over to Matthew Phillips. He's going to talk about the Lifeline.
I do have a question.
Yes.
On the KPI and the key performance indicators, I'm sorry, for the average speed of answer, I know, and we've heard why we have more like a 23-minute average speed due to staffing levels, et cetera, versus 2 minutes. Is that something that you would entertain considering a change for the next time you put together KPIs?
We're hoping that our numbers will definitely be lower next month. So to answer your question, yes.
I understand the question to be, are you going to change the
metric.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So Commissioner Forte, it's a great question. And it's one that I've personally battled with as well. And I understand your question is that if due to the staffing levels, we know that we just and our budget, we know that we just can't add, an additional 50 people to our budget and to our team in order to reach, the goal that we originally set. But it's also one that I also don't want to lose sight of either. That really tells us from an industry standard where we should be at. If you could give us till the next meeting, I will have some internal discussions about that, and we'll see what we can do. Not see what we can do, but we'll have a discussion about moving that number and what the impacts could be. I just don't want to lose sight of it from an historical standpoint, but it's a good point. I appreciate that and the recognition of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to ask the question, the people that had started and I guess they completed their training in July, I'm sorry, I missed the number that was hired and was going to be trained?
Yeah, so Commissioner Garcia, we promoted 10 people during the month of July.
You promoted 10?
There was 10 that were promoted. They went from one level to another. That not only is an increase in their skill set, they learned a new skill set, which increased their skill set. They now have additional responsibility, and along with that comes additional pay. So that is a step up. So that's a very positive.
Okay, so they weren't new hires.
There was. Yep. So Commissioner Garcia, on July 28th, we did hire 11 new employees to backfill open positions that have been open since nearly the first of the year. And so we finally now have the budget that's available to us to be able to backfill those 11 open positions. And they were all filled on the 28th of July. And they did start on the 28th of July.
So on the 28th of July, we hired 11 people, but they don't start until January?
No, they started on July 28th.
28th, okay. And out of those 11 people that were hired, Matthew, Mr. Phillips, how many were Detroit residents?
I don't have that information readily available in front of me, but I can certainly provide it to you.
We can ask that question when we get to the Human Resource Committee. Go ahead, Mr. Commissioner Garcia.
All right.
Oh, no, that was it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Just while we're still on the KPI, or the KPI screen, I just wanted to recognize, I know that Kim mentioned earlier in the presentation that for 23 straight months, we've achieved the customer satisfaction goal. And in fact, we've exceeded it. The industry standard is 72%, and we've been in the 80% range, at least for the last 12 months, but for the last 23, we've exceeded it. I do want to recognize that the first call resolution, so this is a question that we ask every one of our callers at the end of the call. Did the reason why you called customer service today, was your issue resolved? And the industry standard for utility companies is 71%. And for the last 3 months, we have exceeded that goal, achieved or exceeded that goal. So I just wanted to recognize, and that is one of the most difficult KPIs to hit in any field, customer service wise, is to achieve that first call, whether it's first call resolution or fixed first visit. So I just wanted to recognize Kim and her team for that achievement. So thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
I just want to add just a note here. It's really important for us to make upward mobility opportunities available for our C1s to be able to go to a 2, because as you just heard, we're putting 12 weeks of training into folks that we're not getting a lot of benefit out of until the end of that training. So they're being paid a salary, they're being paid benefits to train. And by the way, that's about the same level of training that the police department does, 12 weeks. And so we don't want to lose our people. And we're hiring new people. I don't want you to believe that it's all because of attrition. It's because we're making opportunities available within the organization for upward mobility so that we can hold on and keep as many of the employees that we spend a lot of money training to do. So hats off to HR as well as Matt and Kim for creating the opportunity for upward mobility and a higher level of pay to be able to keep our attrition rate down low. And because we're hiring 10 or 11 people, it doesn't mean necessarily that 10 or 11 retired or quit. They may have just taken a position somewhere else in the organization, because we try to, rather than bring people in from the outside, we're trying to offer the opportunity to the people that are already here before we go outside. So I just wanted to throw that side note in. Thank you.
I think it would be,
Thank you, Director Brown.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we're having some technical difficulties in your audio, so I don't know if there's one of the other commissioners.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me better?
A little bit better, yes.
I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I think it would be important for HR to point out instances where we have utilized employees that, and given them promotions, even though they started at the first stage of customer service. It would be good for us to hear that statistic in their report as well.
Noted, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Sorry, yes.
It is 3 o'clock. We need to recess and call the HR meeting to order.
Thank you very much. We will recess the customer service meeting to the call of the chair.
Tamara, you can take over.
All right, Madam Secretary, we'll now call the Human Resources Committee to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Blackman.
Present, Detroit.
Commissioner Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We will now recess to the call of the chair.
Okay, so we're back now, and we have I guess we're the planning calendar, Mr. Phillips.
Madam Chair, yes, ma'am. We'll move right on to the planning calendar item in 2 slides. Let's just finish up the last 2 slides here before I turn it over to Brian Peckinpah. So for the Lifeline for the month of July, we had 7,969 households that received the Lifeline benefit. That's down 165 accounts or households from the previous month, and that is due to inactive accounts. So accounts that are closed because the individual either no longer lives there or chooses to close their account. So that's why there's just a small little difference between last month and this month and the total number of households received the benefit. There was $7 million worth of benefit received in total since October in gap payments, the difference between the Lifeline amount and the actual full bill, as well as $1 million in arrears forgiveness. We had 58% of the Lifeline participants made a payment either in part or in full in the month of July, and 42% did not make a payment during the month of July on the Lifeline program. Our highly successful Easy Pay program has had a total of 34,362 individuals or accounts that initially have enrolled in the program. 23,500 are still currently enrolled in the program and or have completed the program, which is a 69% success rate.
Wow.
Again, which is really good. We've collected, and we just had, in fact, it was on the 28th of July, which was the day that we announced 1 year ago on July 28th, we announced the Easy Pay program and introduced it to City Council. Mr. Brown did. And so in that 12 months, we have received $10.1 million in just arrearage payments in the last 12 months. So that's how we're gauging the success of that program. So,
Madam Chair.
Here, Garcia.
Yes, I'm having trouble hearing you, but I hope you can hear me. Mr. Phillips, if you could go back to that one page that said so many people did not pay their bill.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on that screen right now. It was 42%.
Yeah, the one that did not make a payment, what happens to them? Do they go off the program, Mr. Phillips?
No, they have, they can be up to 60 days past due.
Uh-huh.
And then
These
after
are just the payments that were not made in July.
that is correct, Madam Chair, or
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Garcia.
So as long as they pay it in August, they can stay in the program. But if they do not pay the payment in August, then they fall out.
That is correct.
Okay, and they know that. I mean, they have some kind of information that knows that.
That is the policy of the program. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I just thought it was important that I ask if they didn't make
Absolutely.
a payment, what happens to them? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Phillips. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, all right, we can start with the planning calendar. Mr. Peckinpah.
Yes, through Madam Chair, thank you, Mr. Phillips. So we wanted to take this opportunity to talk about our community outreach efforts that we are very deliberate and strategic, and run through what we do as a community outreach team. That is one of the functions of public affairs, and it's very deliberate. We use our experience and the expertise of our team, as well as data within the organization and within the city as a whole, and from the mayor's office and department neighborhoods to inform how we're going to strategically perform our outreach. And so we invest our people power, because without people, it's difficult to do the outreach. Certainly we can do social media, but we know that outreach, direct outreach and targeted, is very effective in persuading people and educating them about the water and sewer systems. So we use it to directly reach our customers, and you'll see in a moment the volume that we do that work in, and we do that with educational information, very deliberate materials and videos, as well as presentations. Again, we utilize customer data to inform our strategy. We take billing data, we take other city data, where we're doing construction, and where we see things like, for instance, if we're in a neighborhood and we cleaned all the catch basins in that neighborhood, we want to make sure to go back to the neighborhood and tell them that, hey, we've cleaned the basins, and here's how we can have a shared responsibility, make sure they're maintained in the neighborhood. We also receive a meeting and event request on a frequent basis. I will tell you that thanks to our resources and the support of the executive team and the Board of Water Commissioners for the Public Affairs team, that we do 95 to 98% of the requests we do accept those requests. The 2% or 5% that we decline is because they simply gave us late notice. They call us on a Friday or a Thursday for a Saturday event, and we do decline those unless we're available at that time. Heading into year 3 of our revitalized Speakers Bureau program, which is run by Trey Caldwell on our team. We engage young people mainly through elementary schools, and we partner a lot with Michigan Science Center, as well as the Detroit Public Schools community districts and some charter schools. We had a goal of last year of reaching 30 different school classrooms, and we exceeded that by 8 by doing 38. And so this year we're stretching our goal to 50. And we have a cross section of DWSD divisions that help us do presentations, including some of the leadership teams, such as Mr. Phillips and Mrs. Jones and Deputy Director Smalley. Staff coordinate presentations. We don't always just sit at resource fairs. We also do presentations. We have our supplemental contractor, Detroit-based Compass Strategies, whose primary goal is help us to fill the gaps where we can't go into, and they can do strategic outreach and try to get meetings with block club groups and go and do presentations that we train them on and give them the PowerPoint slides and the materials to present on. We also interact with our customers through the mayor's office, department, neighborhoods, and city councils so that we know what the concerns are of our customers and what their needs are so that we can cater the presentations that we do out in the community. Next slide, please.
Wait a minute before you move. Are there any?
Oh, okay. Sorry, Madam Chair.
That has been said by Mr. Peckinpah on this particular slide. So, Mr. Peckinpah, when you go out to talk to these various community meetings, are they requested by the Black clubs, or do you have a strategic plan, or do you wait to be asked to come out?
That's a very good question, Madam Chair. We do both. So we use data to plan where we want to go based on what customers we need to reach and what areas where we know there's a high volume of concerns about or misunderstandings about the water and sewer system. So we try to target those areas. And then we also get, we do get direct inquiries from block clubs and associations. We just got an inquiry from a block club in Southwest Detroit to do a meeting on August 21st. And so we do attend those. And like I said earlier, 95 to 98% of the requests from the community that come from them, they call or email us. We do fulfill those requests. And the few that we don't is just because they gave us late notice.
Thank you very much for that information.
You're welcome. Next slide. So this is the volume. So to tell you the strategy, now you see the volume there. It is a heavy duty volume. In the past 12 months, we've done 208 events. That means someone from the DWSD team has been at these events, either from public affairs team or the 50 events that we have our Compass Strategies team do that are trained by us, and they are Detroiters. We also canvassed 66,911 houses and businesses. Again, 66,000 addresses that we touched, either through inviting them to community meetings, informing them about upcoming construction projects, or giving them updates on construction projects. We've done that through our contractor Human Flyers, as well as we have a new mechanism to do postal mailers based on zip code. So we do very robust outreach. And additionally, we have a robust social media presence. DWSD's web page, or our section on the city website, is the most visited of any of the city pages. Number 2 is DDOT. And then we have an integrated advertising campaign, which you've heard about before, with our video series as well as billboards that we work on related to feedback that we get from customers about where the needs are, as well as programs that we're launching in the community. So community presentations we've done, and that means those 72 presentations are, we delivered a presentation and had a Q&A with those 72 groups. And then same with the 42 Speakers Bureau events. That means we had a Q&A as well as presentations with those groups, and the rest are events and resource tables.
Any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine, because I was just going to ask for questions.
Okay. Any questions from the committee about this slide? Mr. Peckinpah, we've been questioned from time to time regarding billboards. What is your response to that?
Madam Chair, what's the specific question about billboards?
We've been asked why we don't have billboards out in the community.
So we do have 3 times a year. We do have since 2018 integrated advertising campaign, and so we based it on customer feedback and our internal strategy as well as current events. So, after 2021, we did a heavy focus on flood education and flood mitigation messaging, disconnecting downspouts and cleaning around basins. And so last year at this time, we did heavy focus on Easy Pay. And this year we are doing billboards starting in the next couple of weeks on Easy Pay, as well as encouraging people what not to flush.
Thank you.
Yes. So you'll see the very innovative, we think innovative, using emojis of what you can flush versus what not to flush. So we are trying that out with this campaign, as well as our integrated campaign does include billboards, radio, streaming TV based on zip code for Detroit zip codes, as well as we are doing an email campaign this time based on zip codes as well.
And are you working with SimCog to help get this information out?
Yes, we do work with our partners at SimCog, and also all the council members, council offices have newsletters. So oftentimes you will see our Easy Pay flyer and other flyers in their newsletter to communicate those messages and invite people to get on a payment plan or access programs.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no further questions, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This next slide, just a couple questions came up at the last few meetings. Transaction methods of our customers. There was some conversation regarding how do customers use DWSD platforms, and are they still coming into a downtown service center? But you can see here that they mainly access the electronic methods, either by the phone IVR, DivDat kiosk, or the portal. 80% of our customers pay using electronic methods versus 70% in 2024. So we wanted to share this again, Madam Chair, based on the last full board meeting. This was also shared at the June committee meeting. And I'll turn it back over to Mr. Phillips if you don't have any questions.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes, Madam Chair, that does conclude the planning calendar and the customer service presentation. There was one other question other than how our customers complete transactions with us, which was how many people actually come to our service center downtown. We do see on average 200 to 250 of our residents on a monthly basis. So I know that was one of the questions that came up of how many people actually do show up. We see anywhere from 5 to as many as 15 to 20 people a day, but it all depends. Obviously, at the beginning of the month, we see a lot more people because that's when bills are due. But just wanted to provide that statistic as it was asked by one of the commissioners. And that concludes the customer service presentation.
Let me just say, Mr. Phillips, that I want to commend the customer service. We had a customer drive for several hours to pay a bill because she had not been able to get through on the phone in any timely manner. And I want to commend customer service for helping that elderly, I hate to use that term, that mature citizen in resolving her issue with paying her bill. So commendations go out to customer service in that regard.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, let us proceed.
You could go right on to, if we can pull up the, Tamara, if you could post the agenda so Madam Chair will know that she can close the meeting.
Okay, then if there are no other matters to come before this committee, our next meeting is September the 3rd, the same as all of the other committees. Chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Moved.
Been moved and now support, and this meeting stands adjourned.
So,
thank you, Commissioner.
All right, we will now.
It's been support. Okay.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
All right, we will now reconvene the Human Resources Subcommittee. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made, and is there a support? I will support the motion. All in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of July 2nd, 2025?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Motion's been made and properly supported. All in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion is carried. Commissioner Blackman, your voice is very faint. If you're to get
Yelling.
closer to the mic, maybe that would help. We'll now open the floor up for public participation. Mr. Peckinpah, do we have anyone that wishes to participate?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do. The first person is Mr. D'Amico Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, welcome.
Hello. Hello, Commissioner Davis. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Doing great, doing great. D'Amico Williams, Chief Director, Hydrate Detroit. I just wanted to give my comments. You know what? I'm just gonna switch up and switch off of the business and talk to you about my organization, to this board and the body. Hydrate Detroit for the past 10 years have been thankful and very much appreciative by the Water and Sewage Department for working with us in partnership. We may agree to disagree on some issues. We may go through a lot of back and forth, but 9 times out of 10, the mission of the goal is to make sure that people have their water access clean and affordable. For the past 10 years, Hydrate Detroit has worked with thousands of Detroiters to stay connected to clean running water. We provide consultation. We talk to people and let them know what to do. Any problem, that's no problem. But don't let the problem get greater. Some people are afraid to come talk because they have over $3,000 or more and they have no redress of action. They can't pay the down payment that's requiring $500 or more. And some of these people are being put into situations by no fault of their own. If they get into a house that is not cleared by title or by the mortgage company, if it's a flip a brother house or a HGTV fix my house type situation, or the land bank, which defrauds hundreds of thousands of Detroiters. And you also have to remember that some of these situations, from basements being flooded to weather situations and such, and the bill goes high, people try to shut their water off to save money on the bill, and they get trapped because they cannot afford $1,000 or more. And some people will just give up and say, forget it. I'll just quit. They have nowhere to reach out to. Wayne Metro isn't doing enough. United Way isn't doing enough. The state of Michigan, the SER forms isn't doing enough. Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the legislator have failed. And we are tasked with trying to put together a legislation that will work for all. But this is not a cost just to the city of Detroit. Wayne County, Macomb County, and Oakland County are going through these same issues. But they fail to realize that clean water, affordable water is for everybody and not just for the rich and white. So I just want everyone to realize and understand that over 10 years, we have made leaps and bounds here through this department when we didn't have a customer service department, where we didn't have Easy Pay, where we didn't have Promise Pay, and we didn't have the option to make our payments through phone and online. I'm very happy where we are right now, and we must keep working together in order to grow. Thank you so much for taking my comment.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Peckinpah, do we have another hand?
Mr. Chair, we have Norel Hemphill.
All right, welcome, Ms. Hemphill. Ms. Hemphill. All right, Mr. Peckinpah, do we have another hand?
Mr. Chair.
May I
I'm
be
sorry,
heard?
the name.
Last person, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, may I
All
be
right.
heard?
Ms. Hemphill?
Yes.
Yes,
Attorney
it is
Narelle Hemphill.
it's your turn to speak, ma'am.
Thank you. My apologies. For whatever reason, I couldn't unmute. Attorney Narelle Hemphill, we the people of Detroit. I did just have a couple of questions reviewing the presentation for today from Human Resources. Um, Number one, I was curious to know, is the hiring freeze over? I saw that there appears to be, based on the presentation, 30 new hires um, that into DWSD. I know that the hiring freeze was created by the water main break in Southwest Detroit, and to recoup some of those funds, DWSD had frozen hiring. Um, because they agreed to pay for half of the cost of that water main break, which we believe should have been the full responsibility of GLEWA. So I wanted to know if the hiring freeze was over, and then also of those 30 new hires, what departments are they going in? And then also the customer service representatives that you do have in solely in the building on Randolph, are those how many of those service people face to face, or is everyone in that department trained on how to service residents face to face? Thank you.
All right, Mr. Peckinpah, do we have any other hands?
Mr. Chair, we don't have any other hands raised.
All right, thank you. I will now close public participation. We don't have any communications, nor do we have any unfinished business, which brings us to item 8A, new business HR metrics. Ms. Jones.
Good afternoon. Please allow me to share. And please let me know where you can see the presentation.
I see it now.
Awesome. Good afternoon, Tiffany Jones, the Interim HR Director for HR and Organizational Development for DWSD. My privilege to bring to you the metrics for the month of July. We are currently at 665 employees. As you can see on the chart, that is a breakdown by demographics of our current employees. This slide represents the Detroit residents. As you know, Mayor Duggan has a initiative on hiring Detroiters, and we are 55% of Detroit residents. That's 367 of the 665 employees. So that breaks down to 298 that are non-residents. We had 30 new hires in the month of July, and to Attorney Hempfield's question, we are not under a hiring freeze. Many of those came from our hiring fair that we had in June. And of that 30, almost majority of them, we had maybe 3 that were in other departments, but the majority of them were field service technicians. So we were excited to bring over FSTs. At the request of Commissioner Garcia, she wanted a breakdown of the employees by county. So you can see here that this is the breakdown, with Wayne being our top county, followed by Macomb, and then followed by Oakland. Currently, with our 665 employees, there are 116 that are eligible for retirement. That is 17% of our employee base. I'm sorry? Okay. These are the open positions that we have. Currently, we have, we have 12 open recs, and of those 12 open recs, they equate to 19 open positions. So these are the departments that we are currently hiring, and this is a continuation of the previous chart. Under the planning calendar, we're going to highlight our performance management for this year. This was our first year completing a new process in UltiPro. It was totally electronic, and it was something new for our employees. So they had to get trained. And so all employees were trained by March 2025. And of our very first try with the new process, we were able to receive a 95% completion rate. And we were told that per the city of Detroit. So an excellent job for our employees, the managers and supervisors for completing their performance management. Next month, we will begin our goal setting for next year, and our merit planning is underway and will be reviewed and approved by the director and leadership staff, hopefully by the end of next week. I would be remiss to acknowledge our staff for coordinating with the city of Detroit to bring an employee health fair to our employees. We did this July 31st. We went to CSF, where majority of our employees are, and they heard from vendors and got chair massages that were a big hit, and the vendors also raffled gift cards. So it was a great fair for the employees. Many times because of working in the field that they cannot get to ask some of the questions of our vendors. So we brought the vendors to them. So it was a great event. We heard great feedback, and we're hoping to do it several times a year. The planning calendar is up to date. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, Ms. Jones, colleagues, are there any questions about this? If not, great report, Ms. Jones. Congratulations to you and the leadership team on the 95% and Gold Star. And if there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, we do have some more items on the agenda.
I'm sorry. All right.
But we have to recess for a moment to open up the legal committee first.
Okay. We will now recess the Human Resources Committee to the call of the chair.
Yes, the Detroit Board of Water Commissioners Committee on the Legal and Government Affairs Committee will now come to order. Would you please call the roll?
Chairperson Kinlock.
Present.
Commissioner Blackman.
President Detroit.
Commissioner Einhauser.
President Detroit.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. The meeting will recess until the call of the chair.
All right, we will now reconvene the Human Resources Committee. Okay, I see. All right, that brings us to item B, number 2025-184. Is there a motion or someone who wants to speak from the department?
I would move. Do you want a motion? Or do you want the report from the department first?
We'll make the motion first, and then someone from the department here.
Chair, I would move that the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewage Department, 1, approves the collective bargaining agreement for 2025 through 2028 between the DWSD and the Association of Municipal Engineers, and 2, authorizes the director to execute the collective bargaining agreement, and 3, authorizes the director to take such other action may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote. And I move that would go to the full board.
Support.
All right, that motion's been made and properly supported. Is there someone from the department that wishes to speak about this?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Nakia Branch Penson, Deputy General Counsel for Detroit Water and Sewage Department. This item is relating to the collective bargaining agreement for the Association of Municipal Engineers. Their contract expired June 30th of 2024, so we are eager to enter into an agreement with them. What we're asking is that the committee move this to the full board to allow us to provide you with all of the tentative agreements, the terms of the agreement, so that you can look at them in close detail, the entire body can, and then be prepared to vote on it at the next meeting. Just by way of background, the terms are essentially the same as the prior agreement. We did make some changes to update language for consistency, to remove some unnecessary language, and to correct some grammar errors, those type of things. The only change that provides an impact to the city of Detroit's Water and Sewage Department would be the wage compensation. We did reach an agreement to increase the salary range for engineers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that will be the only change that will have an economic impact on the department. So those terms will be included in a memorandum to the entire body so that you can review it in advance of the August 20th, 2025 meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blackman.
I've lost my screen, but I don't recall seeing the details of the agreement.
Right. That, as I mentioned, I wanted to request for this committee to move it to the full board, and the entire agreement will be sent to the full body for review prior to the August 20th meeting.
I heard that, but is that the way we normally do it? That it just goes to the full body before this committee sees it?
That's how I was advised. If something was different, happy to oblige.
I was just asking because normally before we move something to the full board, it does come before the committee. The information does come before the committee. But I was just inquiring.
Okay, I'm happy to do however the board desires.
May I interject just for a second?
Sure.
Ms. Pinson, if it's possible, could you email the proposed agreement, the tentative agreement in the interim sometime between now and or as soon as possible before the full board meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mr.
All
Chair, Mr. Chair,
yes.
I would just offer the suggestion that this committee could move it to the full board without recommendation because you haven't seen it yet, and you'd still achieve the objective that you just outlined, that we would send it to you prior to the full board getting it, and but you could move it without recommendation, and that would indicate to the board that you hadn't seen it.
Is there that's fine with me. As a general rule, my own view is if the leadership of the union and their members like it, and if the department leadership and management are fine with it, then it should be so. But still, I think Commissioner Blackman is correct that we ought to have had an opportunity to see what it is we would be sending to the full board.
Yeah.
So if there's a motion to move it without recommendation, then let's do that.
That send the wrong message.
Sends the wrong message?
I'm asking, does it, to send it without a recommendation from this committee? I don't want anyone to get the impression that we're not willing to approve it. So I'm asking, does that send the wrong message?
I think that it without an explanation, yes, it could. But the explanation will be that we did it that way because we had not seen the details of it prior to sending it to the full board at the time of this meeting. So it isn't that we have some issue with it or not. It's just that we hadn't had an opportunity to review it. So with that explanation, I don't think it could send a wrong message.
Okay.
And how do you feel about it?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Garcia?
can I just
Go
offer
ahead.
one more piece of information? That the union has voted in concurrence with this agreement, they're waiting for compensation that is tied to this contract. And we were simply trying to get them the compensation that was negotiated as quickly as possible. But in the future, we certainly will be cognizant of the fact that the committee needs to see the document prior to. But I'm just trying to give an explanation why we rushed this, try to get it to the full board, because there are dollars attached to this agreement that people are waiting for.
I get it 1,000%.
Chair.
That's why, I share with you my view. If the two
Mr.
parties
Chair.
have come to a tentative agreement, then unless we have some very serious
We'll move it
objection, why would we
Mr.
stand in the
Chair.
way?
Mr. Chair, can I just add this, Mr. Chair?
Oh, yes. Is that Commissioner Kinlock? Who's that?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes. No, not a member of this committee, but it would be good if you all could just move it forward based on the discussion and the information that was just shared with us. If you all could, it would be. I think it would be a good idea for you all to move it forward. Any affirmative?
All right. Thank you.
We have no objection to that.
I can't move it without a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blackman.
I move that we recommend that this go to the full board for action.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, is it an amendment?
Actually, it is. Actually, it is. That is correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Blackman, would you just change your motion to amend your original motion, please?
I can't see anything. I have no information before me. So whatever is appropriate, I will move it.
Move approval. A motion to approve. Recommend approval. Yeah.
I don't. Commissioner Kinlock, with all due respect, we agree, but I don't think as a technical or legal matter, you get to do that
I
if you're
agree
not a
with
member
you.
of the committee.
You're absolutely correct.
However, Commissioner Blackman has made what I believe is a satisfactory motion and amendment, and I will support it. All in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and that motion is carried. We're now at item C, 2025-185. Is there a motion?
I've lost my my agenda, so I can't move anything.
All right, this item
I will
is
move. I will move, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioner
Can you hear me?
Garcia. Commissioner
The Board
Garcia,
of the
I
Water
hear you.
Commission of the City of Detroit Department approves the following human resource policies: earning, sick time policies, and authorizing the director to take such action as may be necessary to this. I'm sorry, this policy. I lost it.
Is there
Did you
a
hear my
second?
motion, sir?
Support, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Support.
Commissioner Garcia, your motion has been heard, and I am now looking for a second.
I support, Mr. Chair. You can't hear me?
Thank you, Commissioner Blackman. Is there someone from the department that wishes to speak on this motion, this matter, rather?
Yes, good afternoon again, Commissioners. This is Nakia Branch-Pinson, Deputy General Counsel. Regarding the DWSD Earned Sick Time Policy, this policy is to coincide with the state of Michigan's new Earned Sick Time Act. It actually was passed in February of 2025. So this policy basically is a statement of our commitment to follow this policy, and it provides guidelines on how we will administer this policy in the department. The City of Detroit issued a policy as well, and this policy essentially mirrors their policy with unique changes that are specific to DWSD. So to give an overview, what this act does is that it allows employees, full-time employees and part-time employees, to receive a minimum of 72 hours earned sick time. The good thing about the city of Detroit is that we provide far in excess of the required sick time. So we are already in compliance with the act in that regard. However, what the act does is say that if an employee is taking a sick time for qualified reasons, which I'll go over, then they are not to be disciplined or otherwise retaliated against for using using sick time for these purposes. The approved purposes are for the employee or the employee's family members' mental or physical health, injury or health condition, medical diagnosis care, or treatment of the employee's mental or physical illness, injury or health condition, or preventative medical care for the employee. Another qualifying reason would be if the employee or the employee's family member is a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault, for medical care or psychological or other counseling for physical or psychological injury or disability, to obtain services from a victim services organization, to relocate due to domestic violence or sexual assault, to obtain legal services, or to participate in any civil or criminal proceedings related to or resulting from the domestic violence or sexual assault. They can also use, I'm sorry.
Someone in distress?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Backman?
I just said someone in distress. It sounded like someone was in distress.
It did.
Okay, maybe not. Please proceed. Sorry.
They can also use this time for to attend meetings for a child's school or place of care related to the child's health or disability, or the effects of domestic violence or sexual assault on the child. And finally, they can use this time for the closure of an employee's place of business by order of a public official due to public health emergency, for an employee's need to care for a child whose school or place of care has been closed by order of a public official due to a public health emergency, or when it has been determined by the health authorities having jurisdiction or by a healthcare provider that the employees or employees' family members' presence in the community would jeopardize the health of others because of the employees or family members' exposure to a communicable disease. They can begin using this time beginning February 21st, 2025, or within 90 days of hire. The rest of the policy just goes through the notice requirements, the documentation requirements if needed, and then if they have any questions, it directs them to Human Resources Office. And most importantly, it stresses the fact that employees who use this time may not be retaliated against. I'm happy to answer any questions about the earned sick time policy.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blackman.
we said within 90 days of hire?
Yes, through the chair, if an employee begins employment with it after 90 days of hire, they will be eligible to use this time that's given to them under the Earned Sick Time Act.
Okay, after the 90 days, I see that. I thought you said within 90 days, but okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. It's 90 days after, or if they are currently employed, they were able to access it as of February 21st. But if they are a new hire, it's after 90 days.
Thank you very much for clarifying that for me.
Question?
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes, I guess the question is, and I guess I follow up under Commissioner Blackman, when you start working for the department, you start off with a week of pay and a week of sick days? I wasn't sure because I have never looked at that policy.
So it depends on the status of the employee, but they're given sufficient sick time that's far in excess of this act. But this act would apply to the first 72 hours of that of sick time bank.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Explain it to me like I'm trying to figure this out. When you are an employee and you start to work for the city, I guess my question is, do you start with a week's pay of vacation and sick, or do you have to earn it per pay period?
We accrue it at one sick day per month.
You have what? I'm sorry.
It accrues at one sick day per month.
1 day per month?
Yes.
So that's 8 hours. So per working, I guess if they get paid every 2 weeks, it would be 4 hours per pay period?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, Commissioner Garcia, but employees are given sick time and they accrue 1 sick day per month. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Garcia?
I guess it's just confusing. That's all for me.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if you get paid, if you start working day 1, you at the end of the month, you've earned 8 hours of sick and 8 hours of vacation.
You've earned 8 hours of sick and I believe 16 hours of vacation.
In the first month of employee?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So after 90 days, they would have 6 days of vacation and what, 4 days of sick time? Something like that.
Something like
Or
that.
3.
And depending on when those months are, because there are a few months where you don't accrue vacation time, but for sick time, yes.
Okay. All right. That explained it a little bit better. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Branch Penson?
That concludes my presentation on the earned sick time policy, if there are no more questions.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. That motion has been made and properly supported. All in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Then that motion is carried. We've already done the planning calendar. There are no other matters unless someone else has something that they'd like to raise. Hearing none, our next meeting is September 3rd. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjournment, Mr. Chair.
Support.
All right. All in favor say aye, and we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
The Legal and Government Affairs Committee will reconvene. We'll go to the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. A motion is in order to approve the agenda.
Approval, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Is there
Chair,
support? Yes.
I'm so sorry if we could make 2 quick adjustments.
You mean amendment?
Yes, to the agenda. Just want to notify that for the presentation for the the safety department, scroll up. She's under the weather and unable to present today, so we're asking to move that to next week. And then the line item related to the bid protest, we are requesting for that to be removed.
What are those items? What are the item numbers?
It is 2025-190, which is related to the bid protest. And then 2025-187 related to DWSD safety.
9B?
I'm sorry, 8B.
B? Okay, I'm not seeing things very clearly on this agenda. Okay, 8B. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized.
I would move the amended agenda.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? This item stands approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes. A motion is in order.
Move approval of the minutes as presented, Mr. Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and supported to approve the previous meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This item stands approved. Next item on the agenda is the public participation. I'd like to ask, one. Who will be reading the public participation instructions?
Mr. Chair, Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director for DWSD. The attendees are the same as the prior committee, so I ask if we can refrain from reading the instructions and go directly to the participants.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first person is D'Amico Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Kenlock. How are you today, sir?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you, sir.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Hey, listen, I know we're not supposed to make political endorsements or talk across this table, but I'm just going to speak as a resident, a taxpayer, a lifelong Detroiter, and a private citizen that I do support Pastor Solomon Kenlock for
Okay.
mayor of the city of Detroit. I'm just
Okay,
going to say this, why? Because you know,
I have
that
to
man
stop
said,
you. I have to
oh,
stop
okay.
you, please.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't want to break the rules or step over my
Thank
boundary.
you. Thank
All
you.
right, all right. So listen, you know, to think about that, you know, from a man saying he doesn't have water, he grew up in a house without water. That story hits to me, and it makes me so sad that since I've been doing this work in 2014, I have seen death, destruction, and the worst that can happen to people who live without water. People that have to go to the grocery store and has to spend $3.99 or $6.99 for a bottle of water just to have in their home, have to take buckets from the fire hydrant. We have low water pressure in the city of Detroit. That means houses are burning at a rate that we can't produce water out of. And then when you think about water insecurity, that speaks more to how many people that are living without water that says, oh, well, I tried the best I know how. I'm working. I don't have income. I'm doing this, but I'm trying my best to pay my water bill. And people living, literally living without any water connected to their homes due to a shut off from circumstances they cannot control or circumstances they were not a part of. I've when I think about the story and how it relates to me and my activism and my work, including with Nicole Hill, and that was the first client I worked with that had no water, and she had a stench in her house I'll never ever forget. And the many people that I've been able to represent and serve, you know, that are either gone from the city, that have been displaced from the city, that have literally no recourse of action because when they did have a place, they probably were foreclosed on. And we have to think about those that are less vulnerable. And now I'm bringing my attention back to those people that could be on Lifeline that failed in the $40 and $50 tiers. I'm also bringing it back to Easy Pay when you're getting hit with a $3,000 water bill and you only got to pay less than 500, but it's not the Easy Pay or the previous tiers of RAP, which we offered 10 and 30% to Detroiters. That was low amounts under $150. So I'm going to keep continuing what I can in my advocacy to make sure that people are paying for clean, affordable water without being stuck with the debt of price to pay for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Okay.
Mr. Chair, there are no other hands. Oh, Miss Narelle Hempel just raised her hand.
Ms. Hemphill?
Yes, peace and blessings, Attorney Norel Hemphill. I am the Legal and Policy Manager at We the People of Detroit. Have the pleasure of serving residents through our organization. Um, we believe that water is a human right and everyone deserves access to clean, safe, and affordable water. And I just wanted to ask a couple of questions of this committee. Um, we've been talking about a couple different policy documents and legislative bills and everything. So I wanted to know, as far as House Bill 4555, the Affordable Water Now Act, um, two questions. What aspects of the bill does DWSD not support explicitly? I know Director Brown alluded to a couple of things, but just so that they are stated with specificity. And also, I would like to know more information about the upcoming presentation by Deborah Pospeach. Um, what qualifies her to report on these two bills? I know that legislative matters can be a little bit intricate, and being an attorney and working in Senator Chang's work group doesn't seem to be enough to qualify her to do presentations on these two bills. Also, I had a question about the Lifeline. Um, what happened to the 165 households who were previously enrolled in Lifeline from last month's July Board of Water Commissioners meeting? Um, According to the October 2024 Lifeline Plan document, 6.7.1, the section entitled Failure to Comply with Lifeline Plan Requirements, it states if DWSD determines an enrolled customer is not in compliance with requirements, a partial i.e., failure to allow installation of meter, no payment, a partial payment plan, etc., DWSD will notice a third-party administrator who will perform outreach with the customer to provide case management services. So my question regarding that is, has that outreach to the third party been done, and has that third party done case management services before those 165 households were eliminated from Lifeline? And then finally, I have a question about the billboards for Easy Pay. Was there a billboard campaign for Lifeline? Um, and then I think that's my last question. Um, Thank you so much for your engagement and your ability to provide us these answers to better serve the residents of Detroit.
Thank you, Ms. Hemphill. Mr. Peckinpah, are there anyone asking to be recognized?
Mr. Chair, there are no other hands raised.
Okay, at this time, public participation is closed, and we will now go to the next item on the agenda, communications. And the first item is item A, 2025188, the FOIA report for July. Motion is in order to receive and file.
I so move.
It's been moved in support to receive and file the July FOIA report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Item stands approved. Next item on the agenda is the litigation report under correspondence, item 2025-189. Motion is in order to receive and file.
I so move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Been moved in support to receive and file the litigation report for August 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? This item stands approved. We will now proceed to item 7, unfinished business. There is none. Under new business, we have item 2025-18, who will speak to this. But before that, I'll ask for, let's see. Yes.
186.
Okay, I'm sorry. We on A8A 2025186. I'd like to ask for a motion.
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Is there support?
Support.
Been moved and supported. But before, let's see. Before we vote, I'd like to ask Ms. Pinson, would you speak to this item?
Certainly, I have Associate General Counsel James Boudreau on to speak to this item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, Commissioners. James Boudreau, Associate General Counsel with DWSD. This is an easement encroachment that relates to the installation of a new DTE 120 kilovolt overhead transmission line, along with the corresponding poles for the line itself. And it's within a DWSD easement located on the northwest corner of Taylor Road and Giddings Road in the city of Auburn Hills, Michigan. Only the poles will be installed within the easement, and it's with ground disturbance being limited to the augured holes for pole setting. This easement encroachment permit, along with all DWSD easement encroachment permits, has been reviewed and approved with conditions by DWSD engineers along with LEWA engineers to ensure the integrity of the underlying asset. The Office of the General Counsel is now recommending this to the Legal and Government Affairs Committee for their approval and movement to the full board, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have related to it.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask, does any member have a question in regards to this item?
Mr.
Any
Chair,
questions? Yes, Commissioner. Yep.
mentioned Auburn Hills and GLWA. So I'm trying to get the association between them and us on this issue.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yep, so it's a DWSD easement that's leased by GLEWA, and the lines, specifically really the poles for the lines, are being installed within that easement. So it's located in Auburn Hills, but it's a DWSD easement that's leased by GLEWA.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, any additional questions? Any additional questions? At this time, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, this item stands approved. Next item on the agenda is item B, 8B. Hold on, where were we? Let's see. 8B, and that's item 2025187, DWSD safety.
Mr.
Who-
Chair,
Yes,
that was one of the items that was removed from the agenda.
thank you for recognizing that. We will now go, that's right. Then we now go to the item number 9, planning calendar, year-end metrics for Office of General Counsel, September summary of the 2025 water affordability bills for September. Who will be speaking to this item?
Mr. Chair, those items will be discussed at the next meeting in September.
Okay, so this was noted as well. Okay, so I'll continue on to the next item, item 10, other matters. I know of none. And we'll move to item 11, next meeting. Our next meeting will be September 3rd, 2025. And with that, a motion to adjourn is in order.
Move adjournment, Mr. Chair.
Is there support? I'll support that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you.